Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Madara28 back again once again. Just say just saying off top, I am dealing with allergies. Yes, this late in the year in Houston, Texas, allergy season never ends. It goes all the way through the year until maybe winter. But yeah, I'm dealing with that. So if I sound stuffy or groggy, that's why. Um, but yeah, this chapter was dope. This chapter was entitled Future Island Egghead. Obviously, there's a bunch of different theories with this island. Obviously, you see a giant egg cracked open on the island. Automatically, it takes you back to Roger and his ship on the Oro Jackson. There's that giant egg that we never got to see what was inside of it. Many people have theorized that that is Uranus. That is one of the weapons Roger did have, but just that since they were so early, it hadn't hatched yet, and so that might play into the talk that the Sea Kings had, where it said two sovereigns will be born, one in 10 years, one in But I'm getting way ahead of myself. This chapter, as I said, it was good. It's a dope chapter. But let's start from the very beginning. We open up with the cover story, emotionless voyage. Niji and them are all escaping. They got away from Katakuri and Oven, and they're leaving Hoke Island with Caesar Clown in tow. Seemingly, they're going to rejoin their father, Judge Smoke, on the high seas and get it out of there. Obviously, because we know that Big Mom went to Wano right after everything happened, and so everybody that's still left here on the island is the skeleton crew. So that's it right there. Chapter opens up with what we left off with Juri Bonnie flying through the air. Right now, she's like very erratic because what we find out to be a gigantic mechanical shark is in the water. It actually ate her boat, and so she's telling them to watch out. Sanji's the only one who makes out what she says because his observation kings in on women, and so he knows exactly what she said. She said that she told them to look down is what he tells the crew, and then obviously Oda does a great job with this double page spread of this gigantic megalodon looking shark. Now obviously this thing is bigger than a megalodon because the Thousand Sunny is 57 meters tall, and I believe I think is not as big as the World Trade Center was, but it's a pretty big ship, and it completely dwarfs it. That's my neighbor's dog. Sorry about that. But it completely dwarfs it. It tries to eat the ship, and I know a lot of people have contentions with this because they're like, why couldn't the Straw Hats use observation hockey to detect a giant mechanical shark? Don't they have observation? And I would say to that is that I don't believe you can read the intentions of a inorganic being, or in this case, a giant mechanical shark, because I don't believe they read what the dragon was going to do on. Well, no, because that dragon did have meat that they actually ate, so that's a bad example. But like, I would say it's kind of confusing because we know that when Luffy came out of the time skip, he had that moment against the PX unit, the Pacifista, and he dodged all three of the laser beams, and he was like, "Oh, that's slow." Now, that might have just been his reaction speed that he dodged it, but I know some believe that Luffy was using observation. But we know observation, according to Rayleigh, runs off of you read the emotions and the intention of your enemy. A mechanical being does not have emotions. So maybe that's why the Straw Hats were not aware. Now, someone like Katakuri, since he just reads, but even this, that brings into question: is Katakuri actually reading the future, or is he reading the future of his opponent? That's what brings that whole thought process into question, because we know Katakuri would see the future, but he would see the future of what his opponent was going to do, because again, you have to read their emotions or their intentions. So the Straw Hats get caught completely off guard, and people are like, "Oh, they're a Yonko crew now. This shouldn't be happening to them." Like, guys, this is One Piece. Luffy gets beat up every arc by somebody that he eventually one shots by the end of it. Like, this is standard. This is par for the course. Do we not forget that Luffy got sunned by Caesar Clown He literally lost to Caesar Clown in like a no diff fight because he didn't realize Caesar Clown could suck out all of the oxygen in the area. And so this happens to the Straw Hats every time. I'm not surprised. Plus, we have to take into the environment, the waves, the weather. Again, they couldn't read it because it's a giant mechanical creature. So the shark eventually capsizes the Thousand Sunny. Jinbei has to jump in to save Bonnie, Chopper, and Luffy. And so Oda has already split up the whole crew, right? So the whole crew is split up by this point. We see Sanji rescuing Robin. Nami is pretty much left on her own. Zoro saving Brook. And Usopp and again, Nami are just kind of floating there. But we know eventually they all get rescued by the giant robot by the end of this chapter. Even in the beginning of the chapter, page 2 on Viz, on the Shonen Jump app, if you look at the shark jumping out of the water, you'll literally see Punk or Unk on the side of it. So we should have already guessed that it was Vegapunk. But then you see this gigantic robot come in one shot the shark, saving, or quote unquote by the end of the chapter not saving, like Straw Hats. She was just destroying it because it keeps malfunctioning. She already said that she only told it to do recon and fire at, not fire upon, not actually damage anybody. But she can't get the programming down of this shark. But yeah, the crew gets split up. As I said, Jinbei is with Chopper, Luffy, and Bonnie, and it's Zoro, Brook, Nami, and Robin, and Usopp, who are left by themselves. So another important part of this chapter was going to G14. We go to G14. We get to see Mocha and the other children who were going through the gigantification process through what Caesar Clown was doing. We see Tashigi for the first time since Punk has it. We don't get to see Smoker. He's not here. But then we get to see these new characters from Sword or who are just members at the G14 base. And so we get to see Doll. She is the Navy HQ G14 base commander, and she's Vice Admiral. So, Vice Admiral is right below the Admiral position. Right underneath Vice Admiral is Rear Admiral. And then we get into all of the captains and commanders and stuff like that. So we're introduced to her. She's complaining to Tashigi, asking her to do something about Helmeppo and Hibari because they want to take Seraphim to go get Kobe back from Hachinosu, aka Full of Lead Island, or Beehive. And so then we get to meet Prince Gruss. We actually did see him in the Capone. It was the Capone's cover story right after Whole Cake Island. He's the one who kidnapped Chiffon, mistaking her. No, kidnapped. Not Jola. Jola was a part of the Doflamingo family. Lola, mistaking her for Chiffon because Chiffon has a bounty because she's a part of a pirate crew. And so he mistook Lola for Chiffon and kidnapped her and beat up Gotti. But we know eventually Gotti gets Lola back and they eventually get married. And so, we get introduced to him and also all the guys with Gruss were in that cover story as well. But some people were saying that they were actually part of the underground because they were like, if you go and look at some of the underground photos during Punk Hazard, you would see silhouettes of some of these characters in there. And so yeah, it's just cool. It's like, I don't know much about Hibari. She's actually like a brand new character introduced in this arc. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get to learn more about her. But people have brought up, Sandman on Twitter brought up the fact that she speaks in the Hiroshima dialect, which only another character called Sakazuki Akainu is the only other character who speaks in that dialect. And so yeah, it would be pretty cool to get someone else, maybe related to it. Could be a niece. It'd be funny if that was his daughter. His daughter's in love with Kobe, or something like that. It would be very ironic, But yeah, that right there is that detail. I would kind of love if the vids would give us stuff like that. Like, hey, this is what's lost in translation. This is what this means. Different notes for us American readers, because it's cool to get that stuff from Sandman and them, but it's like I would like to get that officially from the actual manga source, right? And so yeah, we like get that whole scene on G14 Prince Goose, and then right after that we go back to Egghead with Luffy, Bonnie, Chopper, and Jinbei. Oda gives us fan service in this chapter with a lot of side boobage from Bonnie. She's thanking them for like saving her, but also telling them that, hey, remember, she is a quote unquote enemy. She's a rival in Luffy's same worst generation. And so she says, she asked Luffy, "What's up with your, with your bounty poster?" Everybody was making a big deal about his white hair. So that's a detail Oda sets up, but also leaves more to be desired from it, because I'm pretty sure that's what's going to play into it later. We know that someone like King the Wildfire has white hair, brown skin, black wings. So why does Nika have white hair and red eyes? Same two traits with. That's just my phone. Sorry about that. Shares two traits with King the Wildfire. Only thing he's missing is the black wings. So was Joy Boy a Lunarian? Now he also doesn't have the brown skin. He has white skin when he turns into Joy Boy with the Nika Nika fruit. So just small details in the story. I know others have theorized about it far longer and greater than me. I know Randy Troy is one who ties in and says that if you look at Hody Jones and them, they were taking the super drugs. It turned their hair white, their skin white, and their eyes red, tying that back into one another right there. So could be something there, but she mentions that they're on Egghead Island, an island said to be 500 years in the future. This island is Dr. Vegapunk's research island. So we're finally here. We're going to meet Vegapunk. Oda promised us a long time ago that Vegapunk would explain everything about devil fruits when he's introduced to the series, right? So I can't wait. The devil fruits have been something that I've always been interested in with this series. Why can't people swim when they eat them? We know that, the sea quote unquote hates them, but what's the real reason why they can't swim when they eat a devil fruit? Or is that just it? Maybe I'm thinking too much on it. But, other things. Why can weapons eat Zoan fruits and gain the personality of that Zoan? Why is the Zoan awakening? It drives them crazy. And if they can't control it, it's kind of like a mink going into Sulong. If you can't control it, you either end up staying inside of the mode too long and you die. There's a drawback to going Sulong. And there's seemingly a drawback to going awakening with a Zoan, because you lose your mind. Potentially look at the Impel Down jailers. There were awakened Zoan users, but completely crazy. And then by the end of it, we get introduced to the girl who claims to be Vegapunk. Obviously, I do not believe she is Vegapunk, because she has the same numbering method that both Vegapunk and Frankie uses. We know Frankie numbers all of his creations. Vegapunk has been numbering his creations. There's PX1 all the way through probably 50. The Seraphim had numbers on it, PX-01, and on her outfit, it's Punk 02. So I don't believe it's Vegapunk. I clearly believe this is the cyborg of his creation, because we know that on his island of Karakuri, he had automatons on that island that he had made when he was a young man. And again, everybody has always referred to him as a man. Kobe called him a man all the way when we first got told about him in Water 7. Kobe called him an old man. Kizaru called him an old man. No, Kizaru called him an old man. Kobe just referred to him as a man. So this is completely a red herring to me. I do not believe now, unless he's transferring his consciousness from body to body, he's made himself different bodies to house his brain inside of when he dies, when his other body dies or something like that. Thinking of Orochimaru from Naruto. Maybe that's what he does, but no, I clearly think he's a real man. He's old. He could be like Dr. Kureha, who's like, well, I know pre-time skip, I think she was 168 or 64, so she's either 66 or 70, 170 years old by now. So he could just be a man who lives very long. or he's modified himself just like Frankie modified himself uh, to stay alive this long. So again, I don't believe that this person is Dr. Vegapunk. I believe this is a creation by Dr. Vegapunk with that he's been able to transmute some of his personality to. But again, because she does in the TCB scans, it says that she speaks like an old man, and that's one of the notes there. So obviously, she's going to have some of his characteristics because she's claiming to be the real deal Dr. Vegapunk. So that'll be my review. Hopefully, I'm gonna get this out today, which is Wednesday my time, and get it out tonight after my daughter's t-ball game. So you guys have a great one. See y'all soon.